on the other hand, if you want to go for deaths, there are plenty of other things to mourn, aren't there? Huh? What about what's going on in Darfur? They got many thousands dead, don't they? Or displaced. And they don't have quite the charity per capita that we did. You know what I mean? For all the victims. Heck, it doesn't even have to be a thing like which stands out. There's stuff that happens every day. Every day someone dies. On the other hand, every day someone's born. Which I guess, you know what I mean, like, there's good and bad. I'm trying to wrap my head about this. Because on the one hand, you know, I'm scared that we've forgotten 9/11. And we've forgotten the lessons of that. And, well, what lessons? Well, I guess there's the one lesson of make sure your intelligence system and your security system and all that, whatever is supposed to protect the nation, make sure that's working. But like on a personal level, there, you know, when we reached out to each other, you know, when we were good to each other, which we can do any day, 9/11 or otherwise. We don't need tragedy to bring us together. It's often in tragedy that people think about that. You know, oh wait, maybe I should be kind to people. Because we've all been through a lot. You know, we've all been through a lot anyways, haven't we? We all have our own problems. Nice if we were more kind to each other, generally. And how kind are we now, huh? I saw a video, Changemakers Day. The guy, dang it. Anyway, the name of the video was that. And he was saying 6 years ago, we told ourselves we would cherish everyone that had not died every day. Do we cherish everybody much as we should? Do we, like, I don't know. I went through the whole day today, and no one mentioned to me that today happens to be the anniversary of 9/11. I guess I should have mentioned it to them. But it's weird, you know. It's because as I said, on the one hand, I'm afraid that we've forgotten. On the other hand, I'm glad we moved on, right? I mean, it's not like, you know, every time someone dies, that every anniversary you have to feel sad. Sometimes even people close to you die, and you move on at some point. I guess I would feel better if we were fine. We're okay, and also we are better than we used to be. You know what I mean? We are kind to each other. We are good to each other. You know, and the best sense of the word patriotism. I mean, best sense in, well, just in the general sense of compassion. Not patriotism in the blind sense of following whatever the government says. Sometimes the government's wrong. That's why we have democracy and all that, so that when the government is wrong, we can do something about it. The sense of patriotism that at that moment was often, anyway, imbued with love. Of course, there are also examples where it had hatred in it, too. You heard about attacks against Muslims. Like, completely unrelated people. Were not terrorists, but they happen to follow the same religion. No, you know, it's not even fair to say that. Because the terrorists weren't really Muslims. Because, as far as I've ever heard, as far as any research I've ever seen, Islam is no more about violence than Christianity. Neither religion is really about violence at all. No, actually, we don't like violence. You know, oh, sure, you can find a few references in the texts that seem to purport this. Really, no. And sure, you can find a few nutcases that purport, you know, Christianity is all about violence. I mean, look at the Crusades, crying out loud, right? There's a dark mark on our history, as Christians, that is. Holy crap, did we betray our principles. And you know what? The people who went and slaughtered innocent Muslims during the Crusades, right? I mean, literally. man, woman, and children. And I've looked this up. They would literally they would no qualms about killing kids. Yeah, those people, they weren't really Christians. You can't really say you're much of a Christian when you slaughter an innocent person. You know. And so, the Muslims, so-called, that killed off 3,000 innocent people on September 11th, yeah, I'm not going to say they weren't really Muslims. They just called themselves Muslims. It doesn't count. You know. It's like saying, I love America whilst burning the flag. You know, it's rather contradictory. So there was some hatred, huh? On behalf of America, I'd like to apologize to anyone that unduly suffered by American hands. Yeah. But in general, we were good to each other for a little while. And that doesn't actually always happen during disaster, does it? There are plenty of times in history when disaster strikes and everyone just turns on each other. You know, and everyone starts stealing from each other, and the whole thing collapses. And that's why we have this as a moment of pride, not from September 11th, but metaphorically speaking, September 12th. Our response to that, when we, said, oh, we're going to help the victims, and we're going to, send everyone we've got to help, and to take down the enemy, yeah?